Welcome to a world where shootings, kidnappings and gang warfare are just part of the job. We're going on the journey to meet the real deal. Law enforcers who put their lives on the line every day, patrolling the most dangerous beats on the planet. So buckle up, because we're about to roll with the world's toughest cops.
Colombia. For decades, this bustling South American nation has been at war with itself. In a nation of guerrilla conflict, kidnapping, and drug cartels worth billions of dollars, someone is murdered every 30 minutes. From the jungles to the sprawling slums. For a generation, violence has been the single biggest killer. Such carnage means the Colombian National Police are a force like no other. Four different units are taking on some of the world's deadliest criminals. The drug squad, anti-kidnapping snipers, the Metropolitan Police, and the Commandos.
It's a few dangerous, but I like the action.
Quieto. ¡Hey! El sujeto lo impactaron en la cabeza.
En este sector vemos que hay una gran cantidad de plantas de coca.
De Bolívar se concentra la delincuencia.
Saliendo.
With a population of 45 million, Colombia is one of the biggest nations in Latin America. Right in the centre of the country lies the capital, Bogota. A few miles outside the city is the headquarters of the Colombian National Police Special Ops Unit, known as COPES. Sub-Lieutenant Jone and his unit are awaiting orders for a top-secret night mission.
American weapons, rifle M4, grenade launcher, Glock pistol with 2 magazines. This is the equipment I use to night vision. COPEC is the best urban unit.
The COPES commandos were formed to tackle organised crime and terrorism. Trained by the SAS, this elite special operations unit faced the most deadliest of situations. Just 100 of the best police officers in the country are good enough for COPES. Jone has been a COPES commando for 9 years. He's a veteran of over 100 missions.
It's a few dangerous, but here in Colombia, somebody has to do it. I like the action.
But with action comes high risk. 4 policemen are killed every week in Colombia, so COPES officers wear military-style dog tags on the job.
We don't know when we're gonna die, so in all the operations that we do, we use this to identify if something bad happened, maybe a grenade, maybe a bomb.
Tonight's operation is so secretive. Even the cops aren't told any details until the very last minute. Any breach of security could jeopardise the mission and cost lives.
I don't know, we're gonna have the briefing. Nobody knows what's going on, but in a few minutes we're gonna know what is the job that we had to do. But we are ready to do whatever job that we have to do.
They're called in for the briefing. The police have received a tip-off about the location of known terrorists. members of the rebel guerrilla group, the FARC.
Hay que tener mucho cuidado con estas zonas porque ellos pueden tener gente ahí con armamento.
The FARC, which stands for the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, have terrorized the nation for over 40 years. Starting out as the military wing of the Colombian Communist Party, the guerrilla force aimed to overthrow the government and install a communist state. Their bloody campaign has been financed through kidnapping, extortion and drug trafficking. Tens of thousands have died in the conflict, and the guerrillas are responsible for more police deaths than any other form of criminal activity. Tonight, under the cover of darkness, copheads will execute a surprise helicopter raid of the remote hideouts. Before they head out, these cops have one last duty to perform. They get together to pray, because in a few hours' time, they're starting a mission that could be their last.
Now we have the control here.
Every year in Colombia, around 15,000 people are killed by firearms. And it's estimated that 2/3 of the world's kidnappings take place there. So the cops are packing some pretty serious heat. For their fight against crime, they have twice as many firearms as officers.
Bogota, Colombia's capital city, home to over 7 million people. Here, casual violence is a way of life. In the poor parts of town, trivial disputes are often settled with a bullet. Fighting to keep things under control are the Bogota Metropolitan Police. Sergeant Gilberto Avila has been patrolling these streets for 16 years. He's about to start the night shift in the poorest and most dangerous neighborhood in the city, Ciudad Bolivar.
En esa semana que transcurrió, tuvimos 5 homicidios, todos por arma de fuego.
In this tightly packed maze of narrow streets, someone is murdered almost every day.
El último homicidio que tuvimos fue hace 2 días, donde a una persona le causaron la muerte con 8 impactos de bala. Al parecer, como lo llamamos nosotros, un ajuste de cuentas.
In this barrio, tit-for-tat killings are rife.
Él le causó a otro la muerte y de igual manera se la causaron a él. Entonces la familia de ese otro fue los que buscaron a él para asesinarlo. Pero pues está tras la pista.
There are over 3 million illegal firearms in Colombia. So for the cops, it can be a case of either kill or be killed, as Avila recently experienced.
Ellos nos vieron en la distancia. Nosotros nos dirigimos a ellos, pues ellos emprendieron contra nosotros. Nosotros de igual manera. A nosotros afortunadamente pues el golpe contra el piso, pero los delincuentes se nos dirigimos a nosotros. No lo hace con intención. Si alguien nos está creyendo, o sea, nos está disparando, nosotros lo disparamos de la misma manera.
To stop the violence, the police are out to get the weapons off the streets.
Nada malo.
They have found a small amount of drugs.
Bazuco. Eso es como el residuo, como el mugre que bota la cocaína cuando están organizando.
One of the men is also carrying a knife, and Avila sees he's got some nasty injuries.
¿Qué le pasó?
Ayer creo que me chuzaron. ¿Cuándo? Ayer.
Colombia has 10 times as many fatal stabbings as the UK each year. Many go unsolved, and the man won't give them any further information about who attacked him.
¿Por qué no ha ido al médico? Porque no ha ido al hospital. No tengo papel.
Pero para comprar eso sí hay, ¿cierto?
Sí, imagínate, ¿no?
¿Sabes? El bazuco es mejor que la medicina. El vicio. No va al médico, pero prefiere comprar eso.
Avia suspects he's probably out for revenge against the attackers, but there's little the police can do but confiscate the drugs and the knife.
Ellos son delincuentes, pero el momento no están cometiendo el delito. De igual como presenciaron, entre peleas con ellos mismos, le atravesaron el brazo, le metieron 2 puñaladas.
It's not just street violence that the cops face. Colombia is infamous for a much more calculated and callous type of crime: kidnapping. In the last 5 years, there has been an average of over 1,600 kidnappings a year. That's more than 4 a day. Such an extreme problem needs a special solution. This is Subintendent Juliet Quintero, otherwise known as Nikita. She is an elite sniper with the Colombian National Police Anti-kidnapping unit called Gowla. Gowla is a special weapons and tactics unit trained to carry out rescues in any environment. 136 hostages were rescued by the unit last year. 35% of kidnaps are carried out by guerrilla and paramilitary groups for political leverage. Most of the rest are purely economic, and people can be kidnapped for as little as $100. As a sniper, Nikita is first on the scene. She can end a kidnap with a single bullet, but she is also the eyes of the operation, there to cover the backs of the police on the ground. If Gowla makes a mistake, people die. It requires a steady nerve.
Es un AR-10, es un fusil de un alcance aproximado de 1 kilómetro, 1000 metros. Es bastante preciso.
Nikita, who was nicknamed after the female assassin from the movie of the same name, has been taking out criminals for 4 years.
Mis compañeros me dicen Nikita porque tengo buena puntería, pues hasta el momento no he fallado. La adrenalinación ya empieza a subir. Tienes que tener mayor control sobre ti, si no los nervios te pueden coger y te pueden hacer cometer errores. Es con autocontrol. Sean delincuentes, siempre son seres humanos. Pues no se siente para nada satisfacción. Tienes que tomar la decisión, o disparas o dejas que la otra persona dispare primero. Si lo tengo y tengo el permiso, lo disparo.
Her most recent case was a classic example of kidnapping in Colombia. A wealthy businesswoman, 48-year-old Yolanda Peña, was abducted in Bogota.
Pues la señora se dan cuenta cuando la suben a un vehículo. Ella iba entrando a su casa, la suben a un vehículo y se la llevan. A los días se recibe una llamada en la cual exigen 700 millones de pesos por su liberación.
The calls kept coming, and the police desperately tried to trace her location. Fears were growing for Peña's safety.
Y ya pues, a medida que se iban intensificando las investigaciones, se dio con el posible lugar de donde ella estaba.
After 30 days round-the-clock surveillance, they were finally led to a house in a Bogota suburb. Once they had the location, Gowla had to move fast. Nikita got herself into position.
Otros vamos al área alta donde podamos tener visión sobre el objetivo.
But unable to get a clean shot, she gave the SWAT team the green light to enter on the ground.
Aproximadamente 25 policías fueron hasta ese lugar. El momento al entrar fue demasiado rápido, ellos se cogen por sorpresa y no pueden pues, reaccionar cuando piensan en reaccionar. Gracias a Dios se nos dieron las cosas bien y hubiera de pronto, el señor hubiera podido morir algún compañero. Eso es algo muy gratificante. O sea, devolverle la libertad a alguien es algo que no tendría cómo describirle.
But in Colombia, it's not just the wealthy individuals who are under threat. The guerrilla conflict means the police themselves are major kidnap targets. Last year, police intendant Jone escaped after spending nearly 9 years in captivity. He had been held by FARC guerrillas in terrible conditions in a remote jungle encampment.
Vea, con esta nos la colocaban al pie, pero entonces nos la amarraban aquí a la mano. Entonces uno a veces lograba medio sacarla, ¿sí? Hasta que...
By the time of his escape, he was 33 and had spent a quarter of his life as a hostage.
Los policías que han secuestrado la mayoría han sido en combate, cuando ya se quedan sin munición, cuando ya no tienen nada más.
Pinchau's unit had been captured after a 12-hour siege of the town of Mitty. The police ran out of ammo and were forced to surrender.
Yo pienso que un secuestro es lo peor que le puede pasar al ser humano. Y yo no pienso dejarme secuestrar. O sea, yo cada vez que salgo de una operación, yo saco un cartucho y lo guardo en el bolsillo. Siempre, 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 siempre. Y cuando esté en un momento de esos tan crucial, que ya no tenga munición, que el apoyo no pueda llegar, aunque ahora el apoyo es inmediato, pero aspiro yo misma a acabar con mi vida antes de que me secuestren.
Back at the police commando's HQ, Sub-Lieutenant Jone and his unit are making final preparations for a top-secret raid. The mission? To capture and arrest members of the FARC. Oruela has had many run-ins with the guerrillas during his 9 years on the force.
60% of the operation, they shoot us. We know that the guerrillas had very good weapons. We had to be ready to fight with them.
One recent operation proved just how lethal the job can be.
The operation was dangerous at this time because like 16 guys against 200, and we lost five police. Marking my life. When we lose one partner, it's like lose a brother. This is my second family. It's very, very hard, very hard.
But Oruela has a reason to keep going.
It's my son. I want a better country for my son, without drugs and without terrorists. Somebody had to do this job, and this is my time right now.
As the unit move out, the men switch to night vision and make their way to the waiting helicopters. The operation will take place under complete darkness. Everything, right down to the helicopter control panel, is blacked out. "16 commandos, 32 guns, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition are crammed into a single Black Hawk. The target is an isolated group of houses just 30 miles from the base, where FARC members are believed to be living. With the location sighted, it's time to move in. The commandos surround the property, covering every exit. But what they are faced with is not what they expected. Rather than armed men, there's a big crowd of people, and they have come out to see what's going on. They've interrupted a social gathering, and a search of the property establishes the targets aren't here. They may have received a tip-off about the approaching helicopter.
It's a bit difficult because we are in about one house here. We got a 3 or 4 house here. So when we land in the fields, they can win. Yeah?
But they could still be nearby, so Oruwela and the unit spread out to search the surrounding areas.
But now we have the control here. We had night vision, security around the house. Nobody can come walking here without we can see. Yeah. We have the control. The problem is the people is done. Maybe it's a problem for us.
In an area with so many guerrilla sympathizers, catching the suspects is a difficult proposition. They are forced to head back to base empty-handed.
Everybody good? Everybody excellent? Everybody come back? No problem. It's the most important. That everybody come back. In this operation with the terrorists here is very difficult because they have people in everywhere with radio, with cellular phone, and they can call. I listen a helicopter, and they leave. I tell you so. It's difficult, but we gotta continue trying. That's the job. It's difficult. It's not very easy.
And things are about to get even tougher for the drug squad.
Esta es un área del enemigo prestos a un ataque. Hay un evento de una muerte violenta.
Colombia is the world's #1 producer and exporter of cocaine. Add a massive kidnapping problem and political assassinations into the mix, and you've got a crime cocktail that has left the country ravaged by violent conflict.
This is the Colombian National Police Anti-narcotics base, San Jose del Guaviare. It's 180 miles from Bogota, deep in the jungles of southeastern Colombia. Here, Colonel Gustavo Chavarro leads an elite division of the drug squad. Although he's got 20 years service and 80 men under his command, Chavarro isn't afraid to get his hands dirty.
Es un trabajo de alto riesgo y nosotros los policías colombianos estamos conscientes de que es un alto riesgo, pero es lo que nos gusta.
This is the front line on the war on drugs. Colombia produces 70% of the world's cocaine. Each year, 700 tons of the drug are produced here, with a UK street value of $56 billion. For the last 30 years, the police have waged war against influential, highly organised and dangerous drug cartels. Drug lord Pablo Escobar ran the Medellin cartel for over a decade, murdering and bribing his way to a £2 billion fortune. Today, the Norte del Valle cartel are in control. Despite the recent capture of boss Diego Montoya, one of the FBI's most wanted men. The drug squad need to be armed with the best weapons to get the job done.
Es un helicóptero Black Hawk. Es un helicóptero con una gran velocidad, gran versatilidad. Nosotros usamos mucho en las operaciones de interdicción, de erradicación manual.
Chavarro and his men take on the drugs trade at source, destroying drug crops and factories. To do this, they must fly deep into territory under the armed control of the drug cartels and anti-government guerrillas. They've paid a heavy price, 17 officers killed and 29 wounded on recent eradication missions. Chavaro's men are getting ready for a major operation. Tomorrow, weeks of planning will be put into action when they carry out a raid on a suspected cocaine lab.
Es la operación Eclipse, la ubicación y destrucción y judicialización de 2 laboratorios para el procesamiento de clorhidrato de cocaína.
4 helicopters and 46 police officers will make the treacherous journey into the jungle. To destroy the lab, they must be prepared to face armed resistance from the drug producers.
Las 2 operaciones que vamos a realizar son operaciones de un nivel alto.
Aquí vamos a sincronizar relojes, por favor.
With the raid due to take place at dawn, Chavaro gets a precious night at home with his family.
Hola, Juan David. Regálame un abrazo. Un abrazo. Un abrazo.
¿Sí me extrañaste hoy? Hola, mi amor. ¿Cómo estás? Tienen esa idea de que corremos un alto riesgo y podemos... Le digo a la familia que el día que yo no vuelva y el día que yo fallezca en mi trabajo, se sientan orgullosos.
But with 200 cops killed every year in Colombia, he takes nothing for granted.
Todas las mañanas cuando me levanto digo, le pido mucho a Dios que me ayude a llegar a viejo y que me dé la oportunidad de ser abuelo, que me dé también la oportunidad.
Uy, ¿qué fue? Toma mi tomate.
Back with the Met Police in Bogota, it's just the start of a long night for Sergeant Avila. After a recent spate of murders, his unit are out to get weapons off the streets. A culture of casual violence has made Bogota one of the most dangerous cities on earth. Avila's patrol covers the poor hillside barrios in the south of the city. From one of the high vantage points, he thinks he's spotted something in the streets below. A local gang believed to be involved in drug dealing, armed robberies and assaults.
Central de Paraísos.
Several units move in to try and cut them off before the gang can get away in the maze of dark alleys.
De pronto en algunos sectores de Ciudad Bolívar se concentra la delincuencia.
The patrol cars have had no luck locating the men.
Y andaba un poquito y me acosaba, andaba otro poquito y estaban aquí, claro, ya estaba yo cerquitica.
Por ahí hay pasos, ¿cierto? Sí, claro. Para poder... El terreno, no nos presta.
The cops have no choice but to go in on foot. With so much gun crime in this neighborhood, they aren't taking any chances.
Están todos allá. Velos allá, ya.
They spot the gang making a run for it.
Vente allá. Venga, quietos ahí, hola. Quieto. ¡Hey! Oye, puta, se metió por allá. Da la vuelta por encima, García, por encima con él.
Finally, the cops have them cornered.
Venga, paren.
Los 3, 4, 5, los que hayan ahí. Salgan de ahí. Salgan, acá para allá.
¿Ah?
¿A dónde están? ¿Para dónde están?
The men are searched for weapons.
¿Ya se descargó? Claro.
No, señor, no.
No, me digo que no.
It seems this wasn't the gang Avila was looking for. Just more drug users who didn't want their stash confiscated.
Consumidores de vicio. Marihuana, bazuco. Dale así, hasta luego. Vete atrás, García, vete atrás porque hay una conexión aquí. Ese puta huecamenta, ¿quién se mete por allá?
But just as it looks like they are out of luck, Avia gets word from a nearby unit that they've caught another suspect.
¿Qué paciente que tenía? Entre las manos, póngamela.
The man isn't carrying ID, and Avia believes he's given a false name.
Dueñas Guzmán.
Suspecting he may be linked to the gang he was looking for, Avia decides to take him in.
Por lo general ellos nunca utilizan el documento de ellos. Esas son las técnicas que utilizan para evadirnos a nosotros. Pero ya uno conoce las estrategias de ellos, entonces los traigo, estoy acá mientras se trasladan.
Mañana tengo que estudiar.
Back on the anti-narcotics base, as dawn breaks, Colonel Chavarro kits up for today's raid on the suspected drugs lab.
Que Dios nos da las armas para defender nuestros ideales y para desarrollar 5 Es un arma muy buena. Voy a llevar unos hombres a un sitio extremadamente peligroso. Yo lo único que quiero es transmitirle a mis hombres la confianza, que todo va a salir bien, aunque yo personalmente sé que no lo puedo garantizar al 100%.
After 40 minutes in the air, the unit enters lands under the armed control of narco-terrorists. Police aircraft have been shot down in this area before. The GAU 17 miniguns aren't just for show. Each can spray the jungle with 50 rounds a second.
En este sector vemos que hay una gran cantidad de plantas de coca.
The Colombian jungle is dotted with 100,000 hectares of coca crops, often guarded with landmines and booby traps.
Los bombarderos a la vista. Ok, plataforma Coyote M01 entrando.
Estamos en el punto del laboratorio. Ya los comandos junglas encontraron el primer objetivo.
The Black Hawk circle the target, scanning the canopy for potential threats. The lead helicopter moves into position.
La aeronave, los pilotos están haciendo todo lo posible para poder aterrizar, ya que los árboles son demasiado altos, impiden que el aterrizaje sea positivo.
After circling for 5 minutes, Salvador gives the go-ahead.
Okay, that's the calibration.
They move in to surround the building.
Por aquí ya hay alguien, pero ¿será que hay alguna trampa o qué?
The building appears to be empty, but the unit have to be on their guard against possible ambushes.
Okay, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Cómo está la situación?
It looks as though the criminals have fled at the noise of the approaching helicopters, but the police have found what they're looking for. A recently harvested coca crop, chemicals and equipment for making cocaine.
Listo, ¿cuánto estimamos?
A lab this size could produce more than a ton of cocaine every month, with a UK street value of $90 million. With the possibility that the drug producers are still nearby, the cops are vulnerable to attack from the surrounding jungle. They have to work quickly.
Vamos a colocar las cargas explosivas para hacer la destrucción. Están tomando fotografías y están haciendo el embalaje en la parte judicial para hacerlo lo más rápido posible. ¿Cuánto tiempo tenemos? 15 minutos máximo. Máximo 15 minutos, 10 minutos. ¿Tienen qué? Listo, vámonos. 7 minutos. Ok, saliendo. Listo, saliendo.
With the explosive set, the men start to move out.
Saliendo. Esta es un área del enemigo, es un área en la que nosotros estamos prestos a un ataque. No nos podemos confiar porque puede que nos ataquen saliendo.
Before leaving, there's just one more thing they have to do. The unit breathe a collective sigh of relief. It's been a successful mission, and they're all going home in one piece.
¡Hola, Juanda! ¿Me vas a regalar un abrazo? Siempre las operaciones que nosotros realizamos de antinarcóticos son un éxito cuando no tenemos personal secuestrado, cuando no tenemos heridos en combate, cuando no tenemos fallecidos y cuando las aeronaves no tienen ninguna novedad. ¿Cómo has estado?
¿Bien? In central Bogota, it's an hour into the night shift for the Metropolitan Police. 21-year-old Subintendent Andreas Mourinho became a cop just over a year ago. The rookie's first job on the force is patrolling one of the toughest neighborhoods in the city.
Es lo que llama Patio Bonito. En los barrios más problemáticos de Bogotá se presentan los homicidios, las lesiones personales. Aquí la gente no piensa dos veces en sacar el arma. En la mayoría de casos llevar el armamento en la mano, porque puede que de algún momento a otro le salga alguien con un arma de fuego y toque reaccionar.
With violence a way of life, the police never know what they might face, even during a call to a domestic dispute.
¿Qué pasa, señor? ¿Qué sucede?
An estranged husband has turned up at his old house and tried to throw his family onto the streets.
Hace 5 meses se fue. Anoche vino todo agresivo y nos trató como quiso. Desde ayer está que nos insulta. Puede venir acá, porque la casa está...
Don Rubén, póngale cuidado. Dele un tiempo prudencial a la señora.
Mourinho does his best to defuse the incident, but tempers are running high.
Venga todos porque anoche vino agresivo, nos trató como quiso, le pegó a la niña, ayer también le pegó a la niña, porque no fue estudiante.
He needs to make sure the situation doesn't escalate into something much more serious.
Entonces no tome la ley por sus manos, ¿listo?
But before they can finish here, Mourinho is called away to a serious incident on the other side of the barrio.
En este momento hay un evento de una muerte violenta por arma de fuego en el sector del CAI de Lice. Vamos a trasladarnos al lugar.
It's time to go to work.
El sujeto lo impactaron en la cabeza.
We're rolling with the Colombian cops in Bogota, who are in the crosshairs of some of the world's most violent criminals.
Rookie cop Andreas Mourinho of the Bogota Metropolitan Police is rushing to the scene of a fatal shooting. On a street corner, They are confronted by a gruesome scene. A man has been shot dead. It happened just minutes earlier.
Bueno, aquí sucedió un homicidio por arma de fuego. El sujeto lo impactaron en la cabeza. Entonces ya se tiene que dar la zona del delito para que la unidad que le corresponde realice el levantamiento.
With more than 4 homicides every day in Bogota, it's a familiar routine for the cops.
Estamos esperando que las patrullas den más resultados del caso y estamos esperando igualmente la unidad investigativa que venga a realizar el levantamiento del cuerpo.
The police question the locals, but a climate of fear in this community makes it hard for them to do their job.
Aquí la gente puede que de pronto vea, pero la gente no se compromete. Y a la gente le da miedo decir algo porque puede que ellos piensen que toman retaliaciones en contra de ellos. Entonces la gente prefiere quedarse callada.
With so little to go on, and the murderer probably close by, the police need to move fast before the trail goes cold.
Ya las patrullas del sector están avisadas y se está realizando la búsqueda de este sujeto. Solo tenemos las características físicas de las personas que estuvieron alrededor del lugar.
Ya pues de pronto, en parte de la verdad.
Al parecer dan descripciones de un sujeto de chaqueta negra y pantalón de jean.
The poorer, darker parts of Bogota provide perfect hiding places, and Mourinho knows they are facing a very dangerous situation.
Por el homicidio fue por arma de fuego, entonces el hombre debe andar armado y en cualquier momento puede reaccionar en contra de la policía.
There's been a sighting of someone matching the description of the suspect, so Mourinho heads in to take a closer look at the area. They find nothing. It's the end of the shift and the killer is still on the run. If he isn't caught tonight, it could be tough for the police to track him down before there's further bloodshed. Frustratingly for the police, people's reluctance to talk means a huge number of murders go unsolved.
En la mayoría de los casos, como el caso que atendimos hoy, fue un caso en que el sujeto cometió el homicidio y se perdió. Y nadie vio nada. Desafortunadamente, en muchos casos la ley de silencio es la ley que aplica a toda la gente.
Despite the difficulties of the job, Colombian police officers like Copes Commando Jone continue to put their lives on the line every day.
This monument was created for all the police officers died on duty. The last one was Wilson Reynolds, my best friend. The guerrillas plants a lot of mines in a place, and we arrived there, and he died with a bomb there. He was married, he had a son. He was very young, like 27. But he was very good police. The fight against terrorism and the narcotics here in Colombia, we had to continue. For all the guys that are dying in operation, we have to improve, every day improve, because we don't want one more die.
Next time on the world's toughest cops, we're in El Salvador. Urban warfare.
Yeah, because this will save my life. Aquí en la compañía de la vida, pues la tenemos prácticamente cantada.